Welcome. So, if you're an early career researcher or a postgraduate student, you absolutely know the feeling. You're staring at this mountain of existing research and you're just wondering, how do I make my own unique mark here? It can feel pretty overwhelming, but don't worry. In this explainer, we're going to map out a clear path to get you from that feeling of uncertainty to one of real confidence. That really is the big question, isn't it? Will you start by really understanding the conversation that's already happening? You can't just add a new voice until you've actually listened to what's already being said. Okay, let's dive into this. All right, here's our game plan. First, we'll map the research landscape to really get a handle on the current conversation. Then, we'll dig into the nuts and bolts of writing a literature review that actually works. After that, we have to talk about the modern challenges of AI and plagiarism. Then, we'll cover an absolutely essential skill, reference management. And finally, we'll talk about how all of this gets you ready to join the scholarly conversation for real. Okay, first things first, mapping the landscape. Before you can add your own groundbreaking ideas, you have to know who is talking, what they're saying, and this is just as important, where they're saying it. Which journals actually hold the most weight? This is your foundation. Get this right, and everything else gets easier. Think of it this way. A literature review is not about reinventing the wheel. It's about meticulously researching the wheel, understanding its design, its history, its strengths, its weaknesses. You do all that so that later you can come in and add your own brilliant innovation. So, your first goal is to build a foundational library of work. Now, powerful databases like Scopus are your best starting point. They give you access to thousands of publishers. But the real secret weapon, honestly, is a technique called snowballing. You find one really good, relevant article, you check its reference list, and that one paper can lead you to 10 more. It's like following a trail of breadcrumbs right through the heart of the research landscape. As you start reading, you're going to see the same names pop up over and over again. These are the big dogs, right? The foundational authors who laid all the groundwork. By tracking them, you're essentially decoding the social network of your field. And knowing who they are is absolutely crucial, because at some point, a supervisor is going to look at you and ask, why didn't you cite so-and-so? Being ready for that question shows you've really done your homework. So, you've gathered all your sources. You've got your pile of papers. Now for the crucial next step, actually writing the review. This is where you have to shift gears from being just a passive reader to becoming an active synthesizer of information. This systematic process is what transforms that messy pile of PDFs into a coherent, compelling argument. This is how you justify your entire project, by showing exactly where the gap in the existing knowledge is, and then showing how your research is going to be the thing that fills it. This right here is such a crucial distinction. A weak literature review? It's just a list of summaries. This person said this, that person said that. A strong one makes you an architect, building a whole new structure of understanding from all those existing materials. And hey, here's a pro tip that will save you countless hours. Read strategically. Start with a paper's abstract, then jump straight to the conclusion. That'll often tell you 90% of what you need to know to decide if it's really relevant to your work. Okay, let's talk about AI. These tools have become incredibly powerful assistants in research. But with all that power comes a huge responsibility. So let's get crystal clear on the rules for using these tools while protecting your academic integrity. This is the official definition, and it is serious. Plagiarism is the most widespread form of academic dishonesty, and the consequences, they can be career-altering. We're talking everything from failing a course all the way to being expelled or even having a degree revoked. It is just not worth the risk. So here's the crucial point. These are two different things. Using an AI tool is not automatically plagiarism. Plagiarism is about failing to give credit where credit is due. The real issue with AI is that if you're not extremely careful, it can make it way too easy to plagiarize by accident, or it might just tempt you into some intellectual laziness. This captures the perfect mindset. Use AI as a co-pilot, not an autopilot. For instance, you could ask it to brainstorm, what are the main counter-arguments to this theory? But you would never ask it, write me a paragraph explaining this theory using these 3 sources. Let it be your brainstorming partner, but your ideas and your critical analysis, they must always be in the driver's seat. Okay, so you've gathered dozens, maybe even hundreds of sources. How on earth do you keep them all organized? I mean, staying on top of all that is a massive challenge. Fortunately, there is a total game-changing solution. If you have ever tried to manage your references manually in a Word document, you know how incredibly frustrating and, let's be honest, soul-sucking it can be. One wrong comma in a massive reference list can feel like a personal failure. There is a much, much better way. Let me introduce you to your new best friends. These software tools, sometimes called citation managers, are designed specifically to save, store, and organize all of your references and their PDFs in one searchable, totally manageable place. I know this might sound like an exaggeration, but this is a real quote from someone describing these tools. The moment you see how they actually integrate into your writing workflow, you will understand why researchers feel so strongly about them. It's not an overstatement. Just imagine this. You finish your paper, you submit it to a journal, and it gets rejected. Ugh. Now, the next journal you want to send it to uses a completely different citation style. Instead of spending hours, maybe even days manually reformatting every single reference, you just open the tool, select the new style, and click a button. Done. It honestly feels like magic. So, we've covered the landscape, the strategies for writing, and the life-changing tools for organization. But what does this all build toward? What's the point? Well, it's about more than just getting a good grade or a single publication. You see, each of these skills is a crucial stepping stone. They are preparing you not just to write one paper, but to become a true scholar, someone who can confidently and competently contribute to the ongoing conversation in your field for years to come. And that is the ultimate goal of all of this hard work: to find that gap, to do the research, and to add your own unique, valuable voice to the scholarly conversation. That's how knowledge moves forward. So the only question left is, what will your contribution be? Thanks for watching.